Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Comic-Con Podcast, the headline here says season 3, episode 3. I almost was going to say it, but it's not. Season 5, episode 3. I'm referring to the tag that Justin.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened.
Season 3, episode 3. I was like, whoa, deja vu.
I was quickly writing
the past 2 years haven't happened. But no, welcome back, everybody. We are third week of January. Getting going, and man, it's already been a crazy kind of first month of January in terms of life events and things that are happening with the podcast, which we'll talk about as the weeks go on. A lot of changes, but like always, myself, Justin, here with you to talk comics. What's up, dude?
Hell yeah, man. We were talking backstage about how this guy's tired because he's got one kid and then he's got 2 other kids now, and I said, dude, people don't know what's going on. Like I have never been so, what's the word? Not excited, like just enthralled to go to sleep tonight.
Like enthralled isn't the word either.
Jonesing? Yeah,
jonesing. You're jonesing for a good night's sleep.
It's fucking A, man. Like unreal. This past week has just been crazy. So whatever. But let's get this thing going.
Yeah, let's do it.
Of course.
We got some community questions, right?
Yeah, we got some community questions, which is actually good because it kind of falls into some of our reviews tonight, kind of falls into some of our comic book stuff. So, of course, let's kick it with our community King Kong show, March 22nd, APA Hotel. Our friend MTG Comics puts that on. Will be set up on March 22nd. It's a Saturday. Come down to Island, New Jersey with us and enjoy it. We'll be there with our buddy V. Ken Marion in Artist Alley. So,
yeah, which we should be talking about Ken a little bit later in this episode as well.
Yes. So let's kind of go into comics, and then we'll get into the one question, and then we'll get into some reviews in our second question because they kind of fall in line. So,
okay.
Not too much articles this week. I mean, let's be real, right? The big thing is Diamond.
Yeah.
Everybody's probably like beaten to the face, right? Everybody's posted the damn picture on social media. Everybody's been talking about it. I really don't want to talk about it because it sucks. It just goes to show you with Lunar and Penguin how awesome their customer service is, how their books are. That's kind of like my 2 cents. I know you had a rant about a week or 2 ago, so This kind of falls in line with you.
And I got a bit of an update with that as well.
Ooh, so let's go, man. Go ahead, right ahead.
So before I launch into kind of the update, because I went to my shop to pick up my books today, and I talked to my shop owner about it. But anyway, like one thing I kind of told him too is I was like, this is like the thing about Diamond is, and everyone's like, oh, I feel so sorry for him. Like I really don't. Like I don't feel sorry for him. I mean, look, they had a monopoly for a very long time, and they were at the top of their game, and it was railing in. Everyone ordered through them is the only way to get comic books, and it's their own fault. They never changed anything. They didn't up their game. Their customer service was never good that I spoke to. Like shop owners said that you couldn't get anything from Diamond if you wanted, and they knew it. They had a stranglehold, and they didn't have to answer to shop owners. So then, enter Lunar and Penguin, and now there's ways for people to shop around. And to be honest, that's capitalism, bro. Like there shouldn't be monopolies. Like everyone should be competing. You should always be competing in terms of business. I said it before with the LCSs in terms of like the pull boxes. I ranted about that. This is just the nature of business, dude. If you stagnate and you chill, you're going to lose business. And that's where they're at. So to kind of go into that, I talked to my shop owner and I said, hey, this is kind of crazy. He's like, dude, we've been trying to fire them for like months now. He goes, but we were in contract until X week. I think it was maybe next week, this week or next week. And then we're done with them. He's like, it's been horrible. We can't get the books we want. I've complained to you about the Marvel books haven't been coming in for the past 2 or 3 weeks with Diamond. So it's been like a whole issue. And I'm sure it's not just my comic book shop, but so yeah, I mean, they're frustrated with them. He even said, he goes, dude, Penguin, he's like, Penguin is amazing. He's like, everything about Penguin's so great. My old shop owner in El Paso, he ranted and raved about Lunar. Like he showed me the boxes they shipped the books in. It was like they were shipping like plutonium. You know what I mean? Like they were just protected boxes within boxes. And then if you ever saw the old, Diamond, it was like, here's your 250 comics, not even alternated, right? So like all just staples on one side, so everything got a bow or a bow in it, or
Yeah.
however you want to say it. Like, dude, it's absurd.
Yeah.
So
Variants, like you could have like a 1 in 500. They don't even bag and board it. They
yeah,
just throw it in
nothing
there with
bagged
like
and
the rest.
boarded, of course, but like, dude, it's just insane. So I don't honestly, yeah. See you later. If you can't keep up in the business world, I mean, that's all there is to it. So I don't know. Dog eat dog world, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's all I got to say about the diamond stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's kind of kick it to some comic books. So our first question coming from our buddy Adi Razzle, he goes, "Are gears shifting? Is DC finally making the leap? James Gunn movie? Question mark. DC's trending up. So how do you feel right now with where DC is kind of at this
Look,
starting in 2025, like with everything?
yeah, I
The
think
ending of we're going to talk Creature Commandos,
yeah,
right? We're going to do a review on that. We're obviously going to talk books, but kind of just in general, like where do
stick
you
to
feel?
I'll kind of stick to comics. I feel like it feels a lot. It's very reminiscent, obviously not to the extreme as it was of New 52, right?
Yeah.
It does feel like very much, hey, we are starting new. It's not as like a hard reset, kind of how 52 was. All the stories and everything, continuity stays the same. But we have new creative teams. We have this new era with the Justice League where everything's different and it's across the board. There's some power wonkiness going on that's across the board. Things feel fresh in DC. But at the same time, you still got like the Batman, which never changes, which is awesome because it's just been so good for so long. Yeah, I think DC's kind of it's going well. It feels like I like the titles they're putting out. I read the Aquaman you had mentioned last week was awesome.
Mhm.
The way they're doing things, the absolute stuff, of course, and like we've said before, the idea that it's tying into the continuity and it's not just this alternate alt universe. Like I think that's going to be real clutch. Um, I'm sure we'll talk some Green Lantern here later this afternoon show. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know, man. Yeah, and that's not even mentioning any of the like the movie stuff because I guess we've really only got Creature Commandos is the only thing that's came out yet. So
Well, I mean, yeah, we got that. We have the trailer for Superman.
yeah,
We'll,
trailers are
kind of
trailers,
see
right?
how things go. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree. I agree with you. I think the DC Comics is definitely trending up. It's definitely not a New 52. When I remember when like New 52 came out, and I was just like, it was like, oh my god, like this is
Right.
amazing. Rebirth kind of came around, and it was still the same stuff for the most part. You still get the same titles. Some of the titles changed because again, you had different writers, artists, but I don't feel like it was that. It was a good jumping on point, and then now you have All In, right?
Mhm.
And they don't do it as frequently as Marvel does, and I think that's what's great about it, right? Because you don't have this, well, we need to reset everything or everything needs to go back to 1 after 2 years.
Right.
New 52 was 2011, and you had like Rebirth was maybe 2018. Like it was a long time. You had years for at least 5 or 6 years for New 52. So I'm enjoying it. I definitely think a lot of the all in stuff is changing, especially either the continuation of certain titles, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm loving like Nightwing and obviously the new Aquaman that we talked about last week. The Question miniseries that they're doing. There's so much stuff. There's so many good titles. They're bringing in so many good artists, so many good writers, and they changed it up because some things were getting stale. So that's what it is.
Did
I
you
think
pick
this
up
year we're going to see
Oh,
a big
sorry.
change, especially with Superman. Got to see
Yeah.
how that goes. And then again, we're going to talk about Creature Commandos, our review.
Have you read any of and two titles that I'd like to check out because I just haven't got around to was New Gods. I'd like to check that one out. And I think they're issue 2, I think just came out
Yeah,
this
issue
week.
two
Yeah.
just came out this week.
And then the other one that I was kind of interested in, and weirdly enough, because I want to say it was maybe back in Rebirth or maybe it was New 52 and it was a mini series and I moderately enjoyed it as well, was Challengers of the Unknown. Um, and I know we've seen them in the pages of some of the Justice League stuff as well up on the
Yeah.
Watchtower. So
hmm
have you picked up any of those? Have you read either one of those
No,
issues?
to be honest, I didn't know about the New Gods thing, or I didn't pay attention.
Mhm.
Challenge of the Unknown. They've kind of shown up in like the Justice League Unlimited and
Yeah.
the Question all along the Watchtower book. So yeah, you've been seeing them in there.
Yeah, I think I'd like to go back and check those 2 books out. And you are liking The Question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good because it's like all just superheroes, right? It's
Right.
not like just some random person that the Question's kind of looking. She's being a detective on the on the Watchtower,
Yeah.
and everybody's a superhero, right? So something's going down, some things are happening. They had issue 3 this week, so it kind of is expanding and the lore and what's going on for what's happening in the background, and certain
Mm,
characters show up that we haven't seen in a while, which is cool.
cool. Yeah, I'd like to check this out because I think a lot of those are, and I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to kind of look here. We don't have to like wait for me to do it, but some of these are actually going to be like just 6 issue minis, right? Believe so. Like they're not ongoing. Like the question I don't believe is an ongoing, and I think Challengers is a mini.
Yeah, for the most part, I think they're just kind of either minis or maxis. I don't think they're really going for a long time.
Right, which is good. I mean, I think that's with titles like that. They're obviously not going to be 30 issues of Challengers of the Unknown. I doubt. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. 6 issues of Challengers. Yeah. I definitely want to check those ones out. So, I'm enjoying it, man. I think that's the truth. I think DC has stepped the game up, and it's paying off. Let's hope they can stick the landing, so to speak. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Let's jump into some comic books. So, what did you read this week? What did you enjoy?
yeah. Oh, sorry. Real quick. New Gods 12 issues. So that's going to be actually a maxi.
All right.
Yeah. This is a pretty good week. Let's see what I like. I'm sure we'll both kind of talk about Ultimate Wolverine, right?
Mhm.
So I'll save that. Titans was pretty cool. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we could talk about that together. I usually talk about Titans. I
Yeah.
don't really hear too much, but go ahead. Yeah.
I
Me
like
too.
Titans. I thought this was good. I kind of like this idea with Deathstroke, right? Kind of it's a callback to the core Titans lore, right? Deathstroke kind of coming after the Titans. We've got Donna Troy in charge of the Titans now, and he's working with Psycho Pirate, who kind of has seen the upgrade, right, since the Bane storyline.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely.
he definitely has he's more menacing, right? Where you're like, oh crap, Psycho Pirate. It's just kind of weird to say. But yeah, it's cool how they're affecting people. We see Killer Frost kind of like the latest victim of this, and thought it was really interesting. I liked how they wrote the issue from Killer Frost's like perspective, and she's an outsider and she just doesn't feel like anything. And then as it goes on, then you get to the scene where she's in the watchtower and she's like, they're talking about me. And they're not like, no one's talking about her.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on, dude? This girl's kind of like losing it. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool issue. And I'm excited to see what they do there with that.
Yeah, I liked it because in this issue and also with the question this week, obviously you read Titan, so
Mhm.
she's a reformed supervillain. She's part of the Justice League, and the same thing is in the question. Yeah, you have a character named Nightshade from DC, and she used to be a villain as well, but she's part of the Justice League, and some things happen where she kind of goes bad in the question issue. So it's like the same thing. Like you have these characters that are used to being, whether they're male, female characters who were villains, and now all of a sudden they're good, but she can't get out of that loop of being a villain. So
Mhm.
she's just like, I, I just need to be bad. But then you realize like why she is the way she is in this issue.
Yeah.
Killer Frost. So
Yeah. So yeah, I liked that. What else? G.I. Joe was good. Look, I don't know. Are you reading Nice House by the Sea?
no, I
Okay.
never even finished Nice House by the Lake.
Okay. So I really liked Nice House by the Lake. I believe, if I remember correctly, there was a break in the story where, publication wise, and it kind of like, and then you lost it. But there's just so much going on. And I think I've complained about this in the past, whether I can't remember if it was this title or other titles, but all the characters. So this is the thing when you're not writing like a superhero title, right? Is you don't have like costumes to differentiate people. A lot of the characters look the same. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying the art's bad. It's a little not really what I'm looking for in art. It's like I don't know how to describe it really, but like a lot of the characters, I'm just kind of like, who the hell is this? And then each run, there was like 12, let's say 10, maybe 10 characters in Nice House by the Sea, Nice House by the Lake. There's a new 10. They all look kind of the same. They all very much blend together. They're not like no one stands out. And I'm honestly just kind of like, I don't really know what's going on. I'm having a hard time following it. I'd maybe need to wait until like everything's done and then read it in a burn. And then like maybe you get it. But it's just disappointing, I believe, with just kind of how great I thought Nice House by the Lake was initially.
Mhm.
So that was kind of a letdown. Storm was kind of whatever. Laura Kinney Wolverine 2 was, I thought it was going to be cooler with like Elektra and her together. I thought it was kind of basic. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
You didn't like Storm? I thought Storm was cool, just because obviously, in the previous issue, she was like training because she lost her powers, and now you
Yeah,
have her with Doom, and Doom's trying to be
the Doom aspect
Doom.
was cool, I guess.
It's like Doom trying to get all of his, he's like, I want the mutants to be my people, and if anybody
Yeah,
goes against you guys, I'm there for you. And it's like, if anybody goes against you, it's war, basically.
right. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm just this plot that's going on with Storm and this idea that in the first issue she got a sickness and was going to die, and then the second issue she was cured. So like there really is no like gravitas there for me. And
Yeah.
not that I ever thought Storm was going to die, but it was just like, oh, she's dead, she won't live, oh, she's cured, Forge cured her. Like, what are we talking about, dude? This was like that all happened in the span of maybe like a total 10 pages between the two issues. So I don't know, maybe I'm just not invested in the story yet. It's not bad, I'm just
She did look smoking good when she was getting changed for her.
She did
dinner.
look good. Yeah, she looked good. And can you guess what my first thought was?
Like who the actress is going to be playing her?
I was like, "There's no way, dude. There's no way." I'm going to say it out loud. Like, there's no way Cynthia Erivo would look this good. No way, dude. I think the book that I really liked. I want to talk about another one that I kind of didn't enjoy too much. Did you read Rogue: The Savage Land?
I started it. I just didn't finish it because I decided to pick up something else instead to read.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Maybe as it goes on a little bit, it'll get a little better. But it was, it takes place like in between like the Claremont era, like storyline, and kind of like fleshing out her time in the Savage Land with Magneto. But the first issue, I was it was okay. It wasn't bad, but I wasn't really floored by it. But anyway, my pick of the week though, dude, I really, really enjoyed. I'm trying to find it here. Yeah, there it is. Green Lantern. I have two, but the Green Lantern, Fractured Spectrum. Did you end up getting a chance to read it?
Yeah, I did read it. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, let's talk about this one. So, kind of a jumping on point for Green Lantern. I've been reading the Green Lantern run leading up to this. I didn't read Core, but I was just reading the main title. And so now we got the introduction of this new Lantern, Sorrow, who was Carol Ferris's ex-fiance or boyfriend or whatever from Green Lantern. He's now this Sorrow character. And we're living in an era where like there's no batteries. Only the Greens have batteries because the United Planets destroyed them all. And I kind of really like the lore here set up, man. Not to mention the art was pretty killer in this issue.
Yeah, man. It's Ken does like every Green Lantern in this issue. Like
everyone.
Jessica, like John Stewart, like Ahmed, like everybody.
Yeah. And I even thought, it's funny when what's his name? When Guy Gardner showed up, I was like, hell yeah, dude, that's a badass haircut. That should be the movie haircut for Guy Gardner.
Oh, I was thinking that too when he got,
even though the bowl cut is classic, but
but the bowl cut's just not good for TV, not good for screen.
You can't take it seriously, right?
Yeah, it's so 2025.
I think this is cool. It was very like reminiscent to bringing back like the spectrum of the emotions, and it looks like we're going to get into that. I really like the kind of the lore of the Book of Oa and how looking through the lens there's different books per spectrum. Thought that was really cool. Even like what is it, Kyle Rayner even says, then like makes a national treasure call out with Guy Gardner. So I thought that was I'm excited, dude. I'm excited. I'll probably pick up Civil like the Green Lantern Corps as well for all the tie-ins with this stuff, but I was really pretty excited about this issue. So check that one out. Green Lantern, Fractured Spectrum, little one shot that's kind of be leading you off in the upcoming stuff. And then my other final like pick of the week was the Spirits of Vengeance #5. I mean, I'm a massive Ghost Rider fan in general, and this has just been a really fun little series with bringing back Vengeance, tying in like Deputy Kowalski showing up. You've got both Blaze, you've got Danny Ketch, kind of all Green Lantern lore, and all the lanterns kind of coming. And then we even got a little bit of Robbie Reyes getting teased in this. We have Caretaker, and whatever. I don't even know what's the new young kid version. Do you even
Phasm?
know? Yeah, or is it
Phantasm basically?
Phantasm,
like
something.
Yeah, she's part of like the new Champions, which came out last week.
So she shows up too. So really cool. I'm loving this little run, and I'm excited. of it like dipping into Green Lantern, Ghost Rider, like lore and stuff. So really cool stuff there. But
Nice.
that's it. What about you?
I guess let's start off with Ultimate Wolverine. Not that
Yes.
it's my pick of the week, but let's kind of talk about it, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, it was definitely interesting. It definitely was the brutality that you
Brutal.
want to see in a Wolverine
Yeah.
book, without a doubt. Definitely changes his lore for sure. You know, very much it is like the Weapon X program, but it's, you know, part of the Maker with Colossus and the whole
Winter
Russian
Soldier.
side. Yeah, Winter Soldier basically. You know, you get to see some cool characters in the Ultimate Universe that were X-Men related. Kind of just leave
Yes.
it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a great jumping on point. You know, so far for whatever reason, like if you're not picking up Ultimate Wolverine, like you should be, right?
Mhm.
All the Ultimate stuff, number ones have been great. I can't see this not being a brutality book and just being awesome to read every month.
Yeah. It was so cool. And like just from like the X-Men perspective too, like knowing like the history and like the relationships between like Colossus and Wolverine being like really close, almost best friends in the comics. And then to see in this universe like Colossus using Wolverine as like a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of hits your heartstrings. You're like, damn, man, that's rough. But for sure, I'm loving the more introductions of mutants in this Ultimate Universe. So I thought it was really cool. Like you said, it was brutal. It was fun. His costume's awesome. Like it's
Yeah,
just so cool looking for sure. And yeah, dude, I loved it. Thought it was really cool. Looking forward to more.
nice. Yeah, definitely a great book to pick up. I mean, you pretty much spoke about a lot of the books that I read as well. I guess realistically, the only couple books that I would say, one would be the Nightwing 122.
Mhm.
I'm just loving Nightwing. First of all, just the writing is different, which is great. The art, Dexter Soy just is an amazing artist. You got this, you know, Cirque this Sin kind of story arc going on, and Nightwing is trying to find out who the mayor is. And this issue actually is, it's very cool because for the majority of this issue is actually a flashback to when he was Robin and Batman. So you get to see a different style of Batman and a different style of like a young Robin done by a different artist who normally, you know, you don't see that stuff right too often.
Mhm.
Don't get to see too much flashbacks of when Robin was a kid, you know, like you get all that stuff from like the 40s, 50s and up, right? Until
Yeah.
he becomes Nightwing. So to see kind of a younger Robin is always good. I'm loving, you know, the storyline. And I just, you know what my favorite stuff is with Nightwing is I feel like this is probably maybe this is even like a question for like you and I. I think in all of comics, I think Dick and Barbara are my favorite couple.
Ooh, it's hard for me because I always lean Cyclops and Jean, but
Yeah, I could see that too. But
they're
I
great. I just wish they would. They're always in like what's the saying, like on again, off again, or will they, won't they? Like
mm,
they need to just. And I feel like honestly, they never are really ever together.
no, but it's always nice like when she shows up in an issue and
Oh
she's like
yeah,
helping him out, and then
yeah.
they have that like cold, you know, that warm hug or like the
Mhm.
shoulder
You
thing,
can
and
always
then
feel it. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And you've just always known this. It's just such a I just love these two characters, and I feel like those are my favorite characters. Like when she shows up in a book, especially like the Batman book, is always great, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Barbara's
They don't
just
do enough with her.
yeah, she's just like classic Batgirl, classic Oracle. So, but other than that, I mean, you kind of hit on all the you know you hit on the Storm, the GI Joe, the fractured special. I briefly talked about the question all along the Watchtower #3 came out this week. I think that's a continuing series, so it's got you know the question and Batwoman continuing. You know who's kind of intercepting the Watchtower, basically like what's going on. Like someone's trying to infiltrate. We saw the Eradicator, Superman Eradicator, was kind of shown up in the first two issues, and now we finally see who's behind it all in this issue, kind of towards the end. So, if you're not reading that, definitely check that out. But I guess pick of the week, and it's didn't come out this week, but we actually got an advanced copy. Was Bug Wars from Image, the new Jason Aaron book that comes out in
Hmm.
March,
I didn't get a
or I'm
chance to
sorry, in
read it.
February next month. So Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Assour is the artist. It's pretty badass, man. Let's just so I don't do you know anything about it?
No, I
Okay.
didn't get a chance to
So
read that
let's
one.
just say it is it's like Elden Ring / Lord of the Rings / Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Okay.
So like it starts off where they call it the Yard or the Rotlands, and it's different factions. Like you have the ant people, and then you have like these guys, the beetle riders, they call them. But the way they speak about these colonies or cultures is like very Elden Ring and Lord of the Ringish, right? Like the Rohirrim or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talk about some great storm that's coming, and there's all this stuff that happens, and they talk about the sisters of spiders, and the oh god, like the sorcery of the maggots. Like it's just such a cool like world building,
Hmm.
right? With all like insects. So if you
Yeah.
don't like insects, it's not gonna be a book that you want to read, right? But then it gets into this whole. I mean, you knew this kind of has to happen because if you look at the front cover, you know that it's not just uh, the bug world. So it switches to the human side, and you find out that there's this kid and his mother. It's his mom, the main character, Sid, and then his older brother. And you find out that their father loved bugs, and they move back into this old house, and all these bugs kind of just like live around this house because of what their father was doing. Like he loved bugs and just had them around. You find out some things happen, and then eventually this kid kind of is getting kind of beat up by his brother and finds out that he ends up. God, I'm trying to how I can like say this without spoiling too much. He ends up getting transported into the world of the bugs. So it's very again, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
Because basically he gets small. Not going to really tell you too much, but you can figure that out from the front cover. And then it kind of ends at that where he now is small and he has his own pet bugs, and like the one pet bug that he loves is like this giant like horned Eastern Madagascar horn beetle, and now he gets to ride it. So, but it's very cool, man. It comes out in February, done by Jason Aaron. So I definitely recommend it. I was happy that we actually got an advance copy of issue 1. So when it comes out next month, definitely be sure to pick it up. I think you'll like it for sure.
Cool. Sounds awesome.
That's it on the comic book stuff. Let's kind of let's get into some reviews. So this week we are reviewing. So first of all, we appreciate anybody that's listening, and we are definitely going to be spoiling some stuff. So if you haven't finished either Skeleton Crew or Creature Commandos, or if you just want to be listening to us, that's awesome. But we will be spoiling the hell out of both of them. So let's start off with Creature Commandos because we do have a question left over from last week. So from our buddy Paperweight, he goes, how did you guys like Creature Commandos, and overall, was it the right first project to drop for DC in the new universe? What did you think, man, about the 8 episodes of Creature Commandos?
So I think there was only 7.
7, sorry. Yeah, 7.
Which I thought was, first off, I thought that was kind of weird because I thought, actually, I was like, oh, there's going to be 8 episodes. And then I watched episode 7 thinking there was still going to be a final one. And I was like, wait, that's it? Oh, okay. So weird number. I liked it. I mean, I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. Now, I don't know, was it the right first, like based on the question, was it the right first pick? I mean, I don't know. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. Like it didn't feel like this Creature Commandos like set up the James Gunn universe at all. Like it didn't really feel like that. There was no hints at anything. Like we know where it's taking place and stuff. I liked aspects of it that it did tie in, obviously, and we know Peacemaker is supposed to make the transition over somehow. There's supposed to be some way it does. But I like how it brought, some of the characters from there. You obviously had the Amanda Waller from there. It followed as well the Suicide Squad death of Rick Flag Jr. We had Rick Flag Sr. Weasel as well, made the transition. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I loved Frankenstein. I loved David Harbour as Frankenstein. Cracked me up, like constantly was laughing about that. And I think if you would have told me, I think if someone would have been like, dude, okay, so if someone pitched it to me, we're going to have Frankenstein, these are the things he's going to be like just a moron. I think I'd have been like, that doesn't sound that good. But then
you've read like Frankenstein Agent of.
I've read some of the versions of him and like Justice League Dark and different things, like Agent of Shade.
Yeah, Agent of Shade. That's right. I was going to say Agents of Shield, but I was like, I don't even want to say that because that's not right.
I don't remember him being like that necessarily.
Oh no, definitely not.
Yeah. So yeah, he was very more serious. But I liked this. I thought it was hilarious every time, like when he's in the he's in like a taxi. He's just talking. This dude's like, "Oh God!" Like everyone's like, "Death the pilot." This even on the airplane, where I mean, it just was ridiculous. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I'll let you go, and then I'll like some character stuff. I thought I was gonna
Yeah,
mention,
no,
but you go ahead.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. The animation was great.
Yeah,
All the actors who play every character is great. For me, I think like my favorite character is Dr. Phosphorus. Like
he was
I
good.
love Alan Tuck. It's like
Yeah,
anything
it's
he
awesome.
voices, right? He's just like
Yeah,
great.
anything he
Um,
does, acting too.
oh yeah, of course. And even live action.
Yeah,
There's like the scene where he literally melts the tank, and as he's going through the tank, he's got like his middle fingers up in the air and just
yeah.
burns their faces off. And there's just so many like little quips that he says. And even so, you get every episode kind of also has like their backstory.
Mhm.
Like his is probably the most, I don't know if like his is the most
Or
depressing or
weasels.
Weasel's.
Yeah,
Yeah. Those two
they're
are
all
like,
dark. All of them are dark. Like, and they kind of make you sympathize with every single one of them, right? They're
oh
not all
yeah.
like totally bad guys.
No, definitely not. I mean, Nina at the end for sure. But yeah, they're all very. I mean, I think the bride is like kind of the only one that wasn't like. I mean, I agree. You sympathize with her, but like definitely the other three, you're just like, man, this is like depressing.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you ever watch the show? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna talk about it and I forgot right now. It was on HBO and it had like Frankenstein, vampires, werewolves. It had Ava Green was in it, and they kind of did.
Oh,
I literally just rewatched it recently. It'll come to me, but that kind of storyline with the bride of where like Victor Frankenstein makes Frankenstein's the monster and then makes a bride for him, but then he kind of ends up hooking up with her and kind of falling in love with her. That's like almost like right out of there.
mm.
And now that might be like a common trope as well, but yeah, it was. I liked it, dude. I definitely did enjoy Creature Commandos for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely. It sets everything up. Obviously, the way it ends, you get another kind of Suicide Squad character for sure.
Penny
Um,
Dreadful. That's what it was.
what is it?
Penny Dreadful.
Oh, yeah. I thought that's what you were gonna
Showtime,
say,
not
but
HBO.
I watched the one season and then I think I stopped. I
So
definitely
good.
wanna go back and
It was really good.
watch it. Yeah, it was definitely a cool series. I remember they even did it like a short comic run too for Penny Dreadful.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, overall, it was good. I just feel like the problem is, and it's just what it is. It's just like James Gunn, like everybody loves him, but he just can't do anything without people, right? Like without a group. The
I get you. Like an
Guardians,
ensemble.
yes, the Guardians, Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos. I mean, we've seen the Superman trailer. We know there's like a ton of people that are going to show up. You know,
Yeah.
even
I'm a
like
little worried about that.
Peacemaker has like too many characters in there that are, like vigilante, and then even the guy who plays John, I don't know what his like the fat guy, right?
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was back from like Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
Man, the Waller, like there's still like there's still like the I don't know, like how we talked about like the WB, like the
The
Arrow.
CW. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's everything
CW
has
thing.
like a team, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing.
So it's the same thing. Like I feel like James Gunn needs to just do something that's not with like a ton of people. So, but overall, I thought it was great. If they get a second season, awesome. If some of these characters get to play their live action versions, awesome.
I'd love to see David Harbour as Frankenstein. I would love it. It would be so
Oh
good.
yeah. Yeah. I think it'd be like consider, because he did what? He did Hellboy, right?
Yeah.
So why
Hellboy.
not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on the Gunverse by any means. Like, I'm hopeful,
Yeah,
and
of
Superman
course.
looks good, but it's the same complaint that we've had with the Marvel movies, right? Where it's like, okay, dude, how do you make a story? If you have 9 different characters in there, you're kind of saying the story isn't strong, in my opinion. That's kind of I'm coming out the gate thinking you don't have a very strong story, that you have to supplement it with, like appeasing fans with, hey, check out the bowl cut on Guy Gardner, or
Mhm.
like whatever. So I don't know. We'll see, man.
No, definitely. So let's kind of switch over from the HBO Max DC universe to Disney Plus, and let's talk about Skeleton Crew, which also just ended this week.
Yeah.
Um, so here it is. Like, and
I feel like I was just like, I don't know where you're gonna go with this.
I know, that's why this is called
excited
the
about it.
tease. This is the reveal, right? This
Okay.
is how I set things up. I was never a fan of like the Goonies. I didn't watch Stranger Things, like I've told you this
Yeah.
before. So like
You hate
coming
kids.
into this, I'm just like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel, right?
Yeah.
But seeing the trailer, I was hopeful. It's the Star Wars universe. I went in with an open mind, and at the end of it, I enjoyed it. It was a Star
Wow.
Wars story without, you didn't need to know deep into the lore, right? There's
Not at
not
all,
much that
yeah.
at all. Like you could just watch this. You could watch this with your kids who know nothing of Star Wars,
Mhm.
and it's like probably watching A New Hope for the first time. I think all the kids, they're all great characters. Fern, KB, Neil, and God,
Win?
who's the other? Wim. Yeah, they're cool, right? Like they each have their own things that they deal with as
Mhm.
kids, right?
Yeah.
Which is, something that, we kind of forgot, right? We kind of forget that. Uh, shit, Jude Law's character was awesome. You learned all you needed to know in every episode,
Yeah.
and that was enough for me. And then you finally get in that last episode about how he definitely was a Jedi. He ended up having to turn bad and hunting his master, so he was an Inquisitor, and now
Wait,
he's a
no,
pirate.
no. He watched her get killed. He wasn't an Inquisitor.
I
He
thought he
was
said that he
She was
like
hunted
hunted
down in
her.
front of him and was
Oh,
killed in front of him. He was like looked
damn.
like he was gonna be like a Padawan. It sounded like he didn't even really start. He was getting ready to start is what it kind of sounded like. And then she was hunted down in front of him and killed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scratch that. Let me edit this out and make sure that I don't sound stupid then, because now I
No,
need
no.
to go
I
back.
mean, heck,
No,
dude,
no.
no big deal.
I thought that's what he said. I was just like, oh shit, he used to be an Inquisitor, but I mean that would have been cool too. But
Yeah.
yeah, again, and it's funny because we talked about this, I guess maybe in like November, December, and I was just like, I got big into like the pirate stuff, and then this show comes
That's
out
true.
and
You
it's
did.
literally the
Yeah.
pirates. So, yeah, man, I think everybody did a great job. I thought it had enough lore to feel like if you've kind of been either reading the High Republic, because of the High Republic era is all about the Nihil, which are pirates. You get the New Republic. You're in the New Republic era. You get the X-wings. There's really no talk about the Empire for the most part, right? There's no
Mhm.
stormtroopers. It's just pirates and
Yeah.
kids. Like it's the perfect, just 7, 8 episodes of just, hey, let's just watch this to enjoy it. So, thoughts? What did you think overall, man?
I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, it's the greatest thing that's ever been made.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was pretty flawless for what it was. We've said this a bunch of times. The Star Wars universe is so vast. You can do any kind of story and put it in the Star Wars backdrop, and
Yep.
that's a winner. I just feel like if they did that right now, like they did with Skeleton Crew, like of course they mentioned Jedi, but let's be honest, there's no really Jedi. Like you said, there's no lore. They talked X-wings, but that's about it. And like you knew where it took place because of like where Atten was, like, oh, who's in charge, blah blah blah, kind of Jedi are dead, that kind of stuff.
Oh, that was actually, yeah, that was a pretty cool part where he goes to the
Yeah,
supervisor.
the
He's
supervisor.
like, well,
The
the last
supervisor was
message
badass, right? Like,
he
yeah.
goes, well, the last message we got was the Jedi were traitors. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, that was cool. So yeah, dude, I thought it was awesome. And honestly, I thought it was a really good way. Look, I've tried to get my nephew into Star Wars, and probably maybe I was doing it the wrong way where I'm like, hey, watch episode 1, which is probably like politics, the trade federation's not the most exciting. But I think it's a good way to get a younger generation into it because, like you said, it's very Goonies-esque, right? And like those kind of movies, those coming of age movies with kids where they're on adventures like ET, stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
a kid can watch that. And you know what I really thought was great about it too was at the end, right? So like I hope there's not another season. Not because I didn't like it or anything, but
Mhm.
I like the idea that it's just this story and that it was over. And even at the end, it ended like those movies do, the old kid movies do end, right? Where like Jude Law's
Mhm.
like, you got me, but you never see him. He's not like killed. He's not like put in jail necessarily. You just assume, he's in jail or
Yep.
whatever. Like it was very like, I didn't want to use the word ambiguous because I don't think that's what they're trying to do. That could be wrong, but I think it's just like how that kids' movies were. Like you could
Yeah.
watch this as a kid. There's not a lot of violence. Um, you had bad guys. You didn't have people really dying too much, unless it was the pirates. Um, I thought it was very wholesome,
Hmm.
you know.
It wasn't
Except that
dragged out, right? Like you didn't need to have a wrap up of like the
yes,
New Republic coming down and talking to them, or them getting all the pirates to, you know,
yeah,
collect them or whatever because they're prisoners now. There was none of that. You're right. It just kind of ends with like Wim, like just like looking out into space,
yeah.
which
Well,
is
and you're
perfect.
thinking this dude's gonna be an X-wing pilot. Like that's what he wants to be now. That's the vibe I got. But I will say this though, dude. Can we can we talk about how these kids are kind of total pieces of shit? Like they just ruined that planet. That planet had like they were protected. No one was messing. No one existed a perfect life. Of course, everyone's like, "Well, isolationism maybe wasn't so ideal." But sometimes in these movies, right, when stuff like this happens, like the kids leave, and I told my wife this. I was like, "This is kind of strange," because usually when they leave and they ruin the status quo, it ends up being beneficial. Like the planet will be like, oh, well, now we have, this resource that we didn't have before, or something like that. That wasn't necessarily the case in this one. The kids just like messed everything up. Pirates came, this huge ship destroyed their town, and now they're part of the Republic. And it's like,
Yep.
welcome. Like, I don't know if that's such a good thing. Uh, but dude, and then the kids are just like, what? At the end of the show, like, oh, kids will be kids, you know. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. Like you said, Jude Law was awesome. He's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
was definitely, and it's the same thing. Like you didn't know if he really was like a Force user, or if he was a Jedi or a Sith, or
yeah.
he was same thing. Like
A
when
con
what
man. At
was it?
some part, I thought maybe this is some kind of a con. Maybe he has some kind of like tech that he's like
Yes, like if
mimicking powers.
like in Kenobi, what's his name? The Indian guy from Eternals who's in
Yeah,
the he had like those like bracelets that was able to like use the magnetic stuff. So I was like, oh,
yeah.
maybe he's using that. And even Fern at the end in the last episode, she's like, this is a fraud. He's a fraud. And then like you realize his backstory, which
Mhm.
is again perfect enough. I thought, and I was just like, what was really gonna get me happy? I was just like, oh my god, all these X-wings and B-wings come down. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, I would love to see Hera. Like, give me
So I'm
like this.
glad that there was no cameos.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That too.
I'm glad. It would have been kind of cool. Yeah, but like then that just kind of goes back to what we're saying about like the Gunverse, right? Like not everything
No,
has to be
no.
littered with these things. But yeah, I like that there's no cameos.
Yeah,
So
it was a good. It was definitely very interesting. It gave you enough. It didn't give you anything that you didn't. That's what it was. There was no fan service. That's what it
yes,
is. There's no
yes,
fan service in this show.
agreed.
It's just a straight story, and then it's in the Star Wars universe. There's no like, let's bring in some random characters. Let's
Mhm.
mention some certain characters because yeah, it's what it is. Nobody. Yeah, they mention Jedi's, but that's you have to.
Right.
But other than that, we don't really hear about. It's not like they know about Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader or Order 66 or so and so shows up, right? Like, or even in the background, there's like this cameo of like these stormtroopers or a clone trooper who's still alive, and it's like like what's his name, who plays Rex, and um,
Oh,
the guy who played
um,
Boba Fett,
yeah.
whatever his name is.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think it was good. I think unfortunately, based on views, it was still low in the world of Disney Plus and Star Wars because everybody has that bad taste in their mouth after Acolyte. But I think give it a chance.
Yeah, I
They'll
think
enjoy it.
word of
Kids
mouth
will enjoy
people
it.
will be like, "Hey, this is actually pretty good."
Yeah.
I saw this is a quote that like initially described the movie or the show, I mean. And like you see these, like, oh, this is my idea for the TV show or the movie, and then you watch it like, dude, it's nothing like that, right? But this stands so true. So it was described as a galactic version of classic coming of age adventure films of the 80s. Like that's a perfect description of Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
So good. I really had a lot of fun watching that one.
Yeah. I'll definitely go back and watch it again for sure. I probably would watch this and enjoy it a lot more just based on things that probably are in the background. Like when they go to that one planet with all the pirates, it's just fun,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, fun.
Like it's just like kind of just watching, whether you're watching like Pirates of the Caribbean or just some, you know, where whatever movie, like you said, the
Yeah.
coming of age, like a kid story, and kids go somewhere that they're not supposed to, and it's just nothing but adults. and they don't know what to do. And you find out.
Not to shit on Acolyte like more, but like the difference between like that and Acolyte and this too, like was the usage of like alien races, right? So Acolyte was like all humans, right? And then they put like the one Daphne Keene, they put like horns on her head and thought like we'll call it good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a Wookiee here. Occasionally you'll see this Wookiee, but like this show, you had aliens everywhere. It wasn't CGI'd. Like Neil was in like almost every shot. Like even like all the pirates, there was humans. There was the Bardis or whatever his name was. The dude was like a big wolf guy.
Hell yeah.
Tons of actual aliens, which I thought was really cool. And even on the planet on Atten, which also last thing maybe I don't know. I'd like to someone do a tally how many times Atten was said throughout the series. Because every time I heard it, it kind of I was like, oh, well, it's just not like not a good name for a planet. Like Atten. Like every time, it's like, it's like nails.
Well, because and then there was the other planets. It's like at something. I'd have to go back and watch that episode when they're around that like cylinder, and they're like, oh, this is at something, and at this, and
yeah. But it was good, man. I enjoyed it.
Definitely. So I guess you want to kind of tease it out for the people? Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So, we can't really say too much yet. We'll be coming out soon, a couple weeks into the month at the latest, most likely. But a lot of changes, not a lot of changes. One kind of big change coming to the channel, but for the most part, content is going to stay the same. Justin and I will stay the same, doing the same thing we always do. But yeah, a little bit of change coming our way for the better. And I think the big thing we kind of want to put out there now so people can like prepare is currently, we're on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, whatever, wherever you get your podcast. We're typically pretty much everywhere. We're probably for quite a while going to be moving exclusively just to Spotify, and then we'll drop some of our stuff still on YouTube as well. So you'll be able to find the podcast there. So for those of you who listen on, Apple Podcasts, like we apologize, but some changes coming, and we're going to be moving to Spotify, which you should be on Spotify anyway. It's way better, but yeah. So that's kind of what we're saying now. We want to prep anyone who listens on Apple. We hope you'll follow us over, and we don't want to lose you. But yeah, we will be. We also don't want to be a surprise when all of a sudden, hey, we're not there.
Yeah, like there's just a Friday where we don't drop an episode, and it's not because I forget to upload it or we didn't do it. It's just because we are, we're basically becoming exclusive to Spotify. So
yeah.
But we'll talk more about it. I think next week we'll have more information because we're going to be having somebody on to kind of talk about it. So be prepared. We appreciate all of our listeners from all over the world, whatever platform you're currently listening to us on. But again, moving forward probably starting in February. So within like the next 3 to 4 weeks, we will be exclusive to. So on Fridays, we'll be dropping obviously on the Spotify content. And then sometime over the weekend, if not Monday, we'll drop the YouTube stuff. So, and we'll still be, still do some YouTube stuff as far as live shows for sure. Gaming stuff. And then whatever time permits, we do a random live show.
Yeah.
So that's it. Season 5, episode 3, ending it. Enjoy our sponsor, Sidekick Supplies.
See you guys.
Out, everybody. Hey, comic book collectors. Do you want to protect what you collect? Do you hate when your comic books slide around in your short box, or you need to turn them sideways just so they don't bend or fall over? Well, look no further than Sidekick Supplies. Their product fits firmly inside your comic box, so you don't need to worry. And not only is their product made in the USA, but also ships free directly to your doorstep. Check out our sponsor, Sidekick Supplies, at sidekicksupplies.com and use the code COMICOM15 for 15% off your purchase. Believe me, you'll be ordering more than one.